Welcome. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm Susan Wasserman, Advisory Committee member of the Cleveland Israeli Arts Federation of Cleveland. I'm delighted to welcome you today to the panel discussion for diversity, equity, and inclusion in contemporary Israeli cinema. And we also have a couple of surprises for you in store tonight too. As many of you know, the goal of the Cleveland Israel Arts Connection is to connect our community with the most dynamic 21st century experiences that Israel has to offer. In 10 years, we have helped bring over 100 Israeli artists to Cleveland and partnered with 50 fine arts organizations. These include all the arts: film, music, visual art, literature, theater, dance, fashion and design, and the culinary arts. Please check your mailbox in the coming weeks for the spring-summer brochure of the visual arts events. Before we begin, I want to extend a few thank yous. First, a huge thank you to Ro Green, honorary producer and co-chair with Erica Hartman Horvitz for their leadership and vision. Thank you to the sponsors of the Cleveland Israel Arts Connection, the Ro Green Foundation, the Leonard Krieger Fund for the Cleveland Foundation, Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, Zinner and Company, BNY Mellon Wealth Management, and the Consulate General of Israel in New York. Thank you also to the Arts Advisory Group and the Patron Society who support the Cleveland Israel Arts Connection throughout the year. This program would not exist without your support. I would also like to thank the over 12,000 donors who contributed to the annual campaign for Jewish needs. Together, our community raised over $33 million to help Jews in need in Cleveland, Israel, and around the world. Thank you. Today, we have a very special program to share with you. We will be joined by Eran Polishuk, who is an independent producer and promoter of films and media. He has worked with top festivals, distribution companies, and philanthropic organizations, as well as film and education institutes. In 2020, Eran launched Chapter 2 Films, a distribution and media strategy company dedicated to representing independent filmmakers, bringing exciting new trends in film to the American and international film scene, committed to reflecting diverse cultures, especially ethnic minorities and LGBTQ communities. I'd also like to welcome Gregg Levine. Gregg is chair of the Jewish Federation's Community Relations Committee and a board member of the Cleveland International Film Festival. For those of you I haven't met, I'm Susan Wasserman, and I'm happy to say I'm co-chair of the Mandel JCC Jewish Film Festival and also on the board of the Anti-Defamation League. For the past years, lovers of film have had to adjust their film-going experience. What was once a communal experience on large screens has now become more of a solo experience at home on our computer or on our television. Gregg, what are your feelings about the film viewing experience that's happening today?
Well, Susan, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I've heard all about you. We've never met. This has been a great opportunity to get to know you as well. And Debbie Yazanow, thank you so much for organizing this. I have to tell you, I've been involved with the Cleveland International Film Festival for many, many years. And I just love the energy and the excitement that we have when there's 100,000 people. For the last 25 years, we've been at Tower City Center. And they all gather, and there's energy and there's enthusiasm. People talk about, what film did you see? What film did you see? And you're in a huge theaters, and there's a great sound system, and it's on a huge screen, and people applaud at the end. And I miss that. And we didn't get a chance to say goodbye to Tower City. And we were supposed to go to Playhouse Square, our new home, and I'm missing that as well. We'll be going back to live theater in person, but there are some good things about seeing films on our little screens. One of them is we have the flexibility of seeing it when we want to. It's a lot more comfortable. Another one of the advantages is we've been able to open up to people who would normally not go downtown Cleveland and get to see some theaters. And we've also been expanding our geography. So those are some of the advantages. And I think the end results for the Cleveland International Film Festival is we're not going backwards. So we look forward to, in April of 2022, being back live, but we also will now have a virtual component as well. So the world's changed, I think, for film festivals. We'll be both live and also virtual in combination. So watch this space. I guess later in the program, we'll be talking about the film festival, the Cleveland International Film Festival, as well as the JCC Jewish Film Festival. So more on that later.
Yeah, thank you. I think you're right. I think there's been a wider expansion on the positive side of many films that we normally wouldn't have had an opportunity to see. We have seen them now out of the comfort of our own homes. But still missing the dynamic of discussion afterwards, or a group collective when we all laugh together or sigh together in a movie theater. And hopefully that will be back soon. You know, after our first program on February 2nd, we sent links to 3 short films that represented different aspects of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now we're going to spend a few minutes speaking about those short films and how they relate to the theme. We will then see a screening together for 20 minutes short film called White Eye by filmmaker Tamir Shushan. As a special treat, we will be joined by Tamir after the screening to discuss his film. But first, let's talk about one of our 3 films. And the first one is the film Upper Lip. Upper Lip is a comedic look at how a cross-section of women in a beauty salon approach their insecurities of what society considers beautiful. A young 12-year-old girl comes to the salon with her mother to have her eyebrows waxed for her bat mitzvah. She experiences the pressure from the other women to have more done, all of the perceived acceptance of fitting in and doing whatever it takes to be pretty. Upper Lip addresses the strong message given to women of all walks of life and all ages that you must be included and follow the rules of beauty from the society you live in order to be accepted. I found the movie to be a delightful display of the pressures that women have to sometimes endure and succumb to. Now, second film is Mini DV, and Gregg, would you like to talk on that?
As a guy watching Upper Lip, I had never really been to a beauty salon, and I sort of loved the sort of camaraderie of everybody in the beauty salon getting to know each other and talking to each other. And I also loved that the film had older people and younger people and an Israeli soldier. It was just a delightful film for someone who's never been in a beauty salon. So Susan, this one was an interesting one for me because I'll tell a little bit about what it was like and then a little bit of my reaction. It's really a lovely story about a 12-year-old boy who gets a Panasonic camera. And I think he really wants to be a filmmaker. And he starts out by filming family vacations, and then he films his bar mitzvah, and then he wants to go into directing and acting, and he begins filming stories, and some of them are love stories. And actually, some of the love stories are between men and women, but all the people who are doing the filming are his boyfriends. They're friends of his. And so he's directing these, and actually in the love scenes, the boys are kissing the boys, but they aren't really touching lips. They're going like this. Mwah. And so as he's making these films, he is going through a personal journey of coming out, of understanding himself, of coming out as, we think he's coming out as a young gay man. So it's really a lovely, beautiful story. I will have to tell you, as someone who's a gay Jew, I've watched a lot of films that are targeted in the gay community and targeted in the Jewish community. At the Cleveland International Film Festival, we have lots of both. So we actually do groupings, so it's easier. So we have a groupings of Jewish and Israeli films, and then we have a grouping of LGBT films, and sometimes they combine. And if they combine, I watch them because I'm really interested in them. So as a film, this was one that didn't really, for me, pull at the heartstrings and the tug of the crisis some people go through as they're coming out. And it didn't really do a lot of looking at, well, what's it like to be both Jewish and gay, especially in the Orthodox community? And so I was left wanting more, but I will say I've seen so many Israeli films that hit on target that are so moving and enlightening in this area. So many films, for example, I've seen Israeli films when there would be a Palestinian woman who falls in love with an Israeli settler woman, and how do they struggle with it? Or LGBT films where there is an Orthodox individual who's in the Hasidic, the Haredi community, and how do they struggle with it? So really wonderful LGBT films. This one for me wasn't it. What did you think of it, Susan? What were some of your thoughts? You were looking at it maybe differently than I would have looked at it.
Yes. I didn't, of course, it wasn't apparent from the beginning that was the direction that the young boy was going to go. And I think from the perspective of looking much deeper than that, keep in mind, he was telling the story as if he was still a young boy. So he was surprised. I think he did mention that none of his other friends that were in the film, he didn't feel that they were gay. I think I got that out of it, meaning that he had this aloneness, but yet he still wanted to pursue it. And so I thought that at some point it was a little unsettling, and I felt somewhat bad for him because I was concerned that he, at this point in his life, didn't really know what to do with it. And it was an interesting way that he actually came about and found out more about his inner self through the sense of filming and directing these little vignettes with his friends. So I thought it was intriguing. Intriguing show.
I enjoyed it as well. So the third film we're going to pass on to Eran to talk about as well.
Hi, everyone. Yes, and I'm going to talk about Tolia in a second. I'm excited to see everyone. I just want to say regarding Mini DV that Gregg and Susan just mentioned that some people ask me why we screened this film, and we also talked here prior this event, and I felt that it's very, very important when you're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in cinema. It's not just to talk about those topics, because for me, we need to include everyone. We don't need to put some aside. So it will be kind of hypocrite if me myself as a moderator, as a white male moderator, will not talk about it. So this is how I see it, and that's why I included Mini TV in the program. Now jumping to Tolia, for those of you in the audience that did not see it, please, you have the link, please watch it. It's open for you. I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I think it's important for me as well, as a son of Russian immigrants. I felt very comfortable to see this film, how Russian men are celebrating the International Women's Day, which is March 8th. It's like almost in 2 weeks. I think this character is lovely. We're in Jerusalem. We see those people that build the country, and it's a beautiful story about the transparent people. So I'm cutting you here regarding Tolia. Please watch it. And from Transparent People, I'm excited to welcome our guest, Tomer Shushan. Hi, Tomer. Good evening.
Very much for having me.
Thanks. And Tomer, thank you so much. It's midnight here in Israel. And I just want to say that we had another program. Yesterday was the first time I saw Wide Eye, or 2 days ago. And immediately I know I'm going to change the program. I just met Tomer yesterday. I think yesterday was the first time we talked. I'm excited to have you here. We're going to watch the film. I just want to say about Tomer, it's his first film after he graduated film school. He studied at the Minshar Film School in Tel Aviv. He graduated, I think, around 2016, right, Tomer?
That's true, yeah.
So it's your first film. It was made with a big support of the Makor Foundation that supported Tomer since he wrote the script and doing this film. And long story short, and we will talk later about it, this film won at South by Southwest last year with the distinguished prize of Best Short. It made an astonishing journey, a beautiful journey, and the best of it, that it's now at the moment shortlisted at the category of live action narrative at the Oscars. It's one of 12. I'm sure everyone after this film just wants you to win, Tomer. So all of us here with you. And you want to say something before we starting the film?
Yeah, it's first of all, thank you for the opportunity to show it to more people. It's the main purpose of this film, and I was um, I was afraid that I'm going to make a film, and because of the COVID, no one gonna watch it because no cinemas. But here I have an opportunity to present it to people, and I'm really, really glad and happy about it. So I'll hope you all enjoy, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Tomer. So everyone, we're about to start Wide-Eyed, a 20 minutes film by Tomer and Shushan, and we'll see you later. We have the Q&A button, so please ask Tomer questions, and we will try to answer. Tomer will try to answer the most. I know I have many questions, Tomer. If you can say shortly where this film is geographically taking place.
This film is the location is in some industrial area in the south of Tel Aviv, which is a bit like a shady area, kind of close to where the refugees lives, and in the night it can be a bit like dangerous and like yeah, so I really wanted to be in this area. I mean, Tel Aviv is not a dangerous city, but there is like a part that it looks and feels a bit shady, as I said.
Yeah, I know that area very well, and I know the bar very well. And, you know, I'm even thinking to myself that you can sit there like forever, for years, and not like 2 meters from you, there is this no man's land. I would love to hear my fellow panelists to join to ask questions. Gregg, do you want to start?
Well, Tomer, just remarkable film. This is the third time I've seen it, and each time it really impacts me. Such a strong message about humanity. So thank you for putting that together. I just have a question about the ending, which is so unexpected. But so could you talk to us a little bit about when because you wrote it and directed it, and you're the filmmaker, of your thoughts about how it ended, and did you have thoughts about other ways to end it, and what was the ending, your hope for the message for the viewers?
Okay, first of all, thank you. It's important to say that this story really happened to me. So it's like based on real events, real experience that they had a few years ago, and it ended in real life a bit better. I mean, I could I had the chance to make the police go away, and the Eritrean guy could go back to his life, but he felt really, really bad, and we exchanged the bikes with money at the end. And when he gave me the bike back, he couldn't stop crying because he was so afraid. And I just got my bike back, and I was started to cry too. And I rode like I took them for a short ride, but then I just couldn't touch them anymore. I just wanted to burn it, and like I felt how they were worthless, you know, and I wanted to bring this feeling to the audience, that it's just like property, just like something that's not really valuable compared to some other people's lives, you know. And I wanted to create this image to show it.
Well, thank you, Tomer. Susan, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, I have a twofold question. First of all, right out of the gate, right at the very beginning of the film, I felt this tension, and I felt it that at any moment something was going to happen. I love the way you captured that through their body motion or their movement. Is how I felt. And I wondered how you went about capturing that. And the second part of it is, I did realize watching this the second time, it must have been just one camera on a continuous roll. There isn't any editing. It's just almost like a play that just continues and continues. And I felt that built up the tension as well. How did you go about this process to relate this type of feeling in a film?
Actually, it's a great question because I presented like a character, like the local guy, the Israeli guy, and he doing something that people that they watch at their place and they watch this film, it's easy for them to judge him for doing something wrong. But I really wanted him to be that neurotic, that his body language will show you that he's not in his like comfort zone, that he's working out of impulsive, rational thoughts and state of mind. And I was so afraid that if the audience could see him as like cold and easy and like working out of his thoughts, so it could make them less like him and could make them feel that he's a bad person, which is not. It just worked from instinctive place, and it was very important for me that he will show it with his body language. So we worked on that. It was something that that we work on, and it was very important for me. And regarding the one shot, the one take, it's also something that I really wanted to make the audience feel like the main character. The main character doing something without any moment to breathe and to think if his actions can cause someone losing his life or for something bad to happen to him. So I really wanted the audience wouldn't have the chance to breathe as well. So I thought that that's how I can reflect those feelings, that I wouldn't give the audience any moments and any cut to breathe and to understand if what's happening is good or wrong.
Yeah, thank you for doing that as a film director. It brought an intensity to the situation that that he was going through, and I commend you on that. Thank you so much for that perspective.
Yes, thank you. I'm seeing we have a question. Someone asked us, Nancy, can you say where the worker is immigrant from?
Yeah, in Israel, there are from few places, but most of them coming from Eritrea or from Sudan. Few years ago, there were Eritrea is a small country inside of Ethiopia, and they went to a war with Ethiopia. So the Eritrean government made all of the males to draft to the army, and most of them came to Israel, which is like the closest country that they can get inside and work and live. So most of them did it with knowing that in case they're going back to prison for life or even to a death sentence. So the Eritrean community is very like there are lots of Eritrean in Israel, and also from Sudan as well.
Thanks. Thank you. So, Tomer, we have someone sent me a question. I will ask you two questions. First of all, can you tell about the work with the actors, with the Eritrean actors? And following that question, we have a question. Can you please explain about the title of the film, White Eye?
Yeah, so it was very important for me to bring the voice of the real refugees, the real people that living here. You know, it's so crazy when a person know that he is illegal. Like his life in this place is illegal, and he needs to avoid all the authorities' eyes. And on the other end, the society eyes can't even see him. He's a see-through person. So it was very important for me to bring non-actors and like real refugees, and it was very, very challenging to work with them. But also, I just had a chance to hear their stories and to hear more about their cultures, and and I think that they really like to do it because this film give them the chance to bring their voice, not as a miserable people, just like as regular people, equal people, and they really like the script, and it was really interesting to work with them. Also to make one single take with non-actors, it's super challenging, but we were all had this mission that we had to accomplish, and it was very, very at the end it was very, very satisfying and amazing. And regarding White Eye, the title, I thought that white eyes are like symbol of blindness, and obviously there is a person that he's like blind to the person inside, like in front of him. So that was one reason, and also white eye, it's also because this film happening from the point of view of a white person. It's like a white person eyes that judging and making this scene to be happen.
Wow, I think Tomer, first of all, thank you, and I think those words are like speaks volume. It means everything regarding this film, and I know we have a few more questions. I will text later with Tomer, and I promise to give all the answers, but we need to move on. So Tomer, your film is being shortlisted for the Oscars. You're one of 12. I know there were like hundreds of films, and everyone here, I know everyone here like holding fingers for you. I'm saying to the guy, if you know Academy Award members, please share let them opt into the Academy Award. Watch the film, vote for the film. Tomer, we wish you all the best. I know you're working now on a longer feature, moving this short film to a longer. We will follow you, and thank you so much for staying awake. That everyone appreciate here that you stayed awake, and from the bottom of my heart,
thank you
good
for
luck.
The opportunity. Yeah.
Oops, I think maybe we lost Tomer. Okay, so
making films and telling.
Let's see. Tomer, yes, please, we didn't hear you. Can you repeat?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to show it to new people, and for me it's great achievement, the most important one, that my creations get appreciated and get to people's eyes and hearts. So thank you for that. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tomer. Good luck and good night. Okay, now to our audience, you are very, very fortunate that Cleveland is the home for so many film festivals, and the film festivals provide the opportunity to view incredible films that are not often available in the mainstream. And we are equally fortunate that leaders of two of those festivals are here with us. And I'm throwing it now to Gregg Levine. Hey, Gregg.
Thank you so much. I want to do a shout out to two other film festivals. Cleveland does host a number of film festivals. So the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival is held in September, and the Chagrin Documentary Film Festival is also held in October. But I couldn't be prouder of the work that the Cleveland International Film Festival does in the area of racial equity and inclusion. It's one of our key values. and we're working very, very hard. Most of our films are also sponsored by a community partner, and oftentimes those community partners are those partners working in the space of racial justice and equality. So the film will be matched up with a community partner that's passionate about the film's message. We also, to help people get through, well, which film should I see? There's over 250 feature and short films. And I mentioned this earlier, we categorize the film so it's easier for you. And so there is a grouping, we call it a sidebar, of Jewish and Israeli film festivals. There's a sidebar of LGBT film festivals. There's a side of films. There's a sidebar of Latinx films. And there's also a sidebar of Black films. So invite you, if you're interested in racial equity and inclusion, to visit the International Film Festival. The films will go live on March 12th, and the film festival itself is April 7th to April 20th. So you simply go to clevelandfilm.org, and you can find out all of the films. They will be made public to the community on March 12th. As a special feature, for a discount, if you would like to see individual ticket films, and you put in the code JCC, you will save $1. But there's also ways to package films, buying a package of 10 films, or to have a binge watcher film pass where you can watch all the films. But more of that information on the film site. So please join us April 7th to the 20th. I think I now hand it over to Susan.
Hi, yay. Yes, the Mandel JCC Jewish Film Festival. Our goal is presenting films reflecting different aspects of Jewish life and Jewish experience. We try to strive to mix the films to reflect diversity of our focus and to educate and promote discussion on a variety of topics. Some current examples that I'm sure many of you have seen are films such as Passengers, Flawless, Muna, Unchained, and Breaking Bread. I'm thrilled to announce that this year's Mandel JCC Jewish Festival will be October 14th through the 24th. And this will be our 15th season. Yay. We hope to be in person, but we'll still have some time to tell whether we will be going live or doing streaming all again for the fall. Either way, please join us on October 14th through the 24th. Thanks. Now I'm going to turn it over to Eran. Eran has some exciting information.
Okay, thank you, Susan, and thank you, Greg. And before we move into our next part, I want to say I've working with those two festivals and the other wonderful festivals in Cleveland. And I want to thank to Debbie Yassino. They invited me for the first time to arrive to Cleveland a few years ago. I was astonished to discover how cinematic is Cleveland, how cultural is Cleveland. So it's wonderful. And thank you, everyone that invited me to meet all these wonderful panelists and to show these films. Now, please stick with us. We have a film that we just got in today. It's only 7.5 minutes, and it's a short film. It's a short film by Tikra Makadla, and she's a young director. She just finished her film school 2 years ago from the Beth Barrel Film School. It's based about her life, and I want to say about Tikra, she grew up and she still lives in Baqa El Gharbiya. It's an Arabic city, not far from Netanya. It's like north center of Israel. She's a religious. She has the ad cover. She brought this beautiful short story. She did it on her second year. All the purpose to do this program, I think it's not to bring you answers about the diversity and equity and all what we're talking about. It's to bring some questions, and I think this short film summed it all. So let's see Girl on a Bike. What a wonderful film. As I said, no answers, we're just asking questions. So I think we're about to close. Suzanne, who wanted to close the program?
Amir, this has been a fantastic conversation about diversity, equity, and inclusion in Israeli film. I hope our film sessions have brought you an increased awareness and continued involvement with exploring and embracing a much wider variety of films that Israel has to offer. Please look for more upcoming events from the Cleveland Israeli Arts Connection, which is a program of the Jewish Federation of Cleveland, and the Siegel Lifelong Learning. For continuous updates and more opportunities to experience Israeli arts and culture, please be sure to join the Cleveland Israeli Arts Connection page on Facebook. Thank you so much for attending and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.